Part B is another difference quotient that you sometimes see, but again, it's the same kind of idea. I'm going to have g of x minus g of 3 over x minus 3. My goal here is to get the x minus 3 that appears on the bottom to disappear. So I'm trying to get rid of a two-term thing, which means I better be able to show that the top is going to be able to be turned into something that has a factor of x minus 3 as part of it. So what I'm going to do here, g of x is 6 over x, g of 3 is 6 over 3, all over x minus 3. Now I can turn 6 over 3 into 2, but the thing is I got to carry through the subtraction on top. And for me to carry through the subtraction on top, I have to have this common denominator. So I decided the common denominator between x and 3 is 3x. Basically, sometimes the easiest way to get a common denominator is just multiply your two denominators together. There it is. We often look for the lowest one in some cases, but when you start dealing with letters and numbers, that gets a little tricky. So if I can transform those over, I'm going to have 18 over 3x minus 6x over 3x. Now what happens here is, for me, I can carry out the subtraction on top now because I have a common denominator. And what happens is I'm going to have 18 minus 6x all over 3x. Because remember, that's how I carry through a subtraction of fractions. I subtract the numerators, and I leave the common denominator alone. So, what I'd end up with is I'd have 18 minus 6x all over 3x all over x minus 3. And I have to remember, if I divide a fraction by something, I'm actually I'm just taking that fraction and multiplying it by the second thing's denominator. I mean, just taking the first thing's denominator and multiplying the denominator by that value. So it's like me taking 1/2 divided by 2 and making that 1 over 2 times 2. Same thing. So that's how I end up with 18 minus 6x all over 3x over x minus 3. So there's a couple of steps of algebra I didn't show there, but you may want to make sure that you know how to get to this point. I still see the x minus 3 on the bottom there. That x minus 3, that quantity, I want it to go away. So I would like to find a way of getting the quantity of x minus 3 to appear on top. Well, I could do that, if you look it over enough, you see, well, if I could factor out a -6 on top, and I would get -6 times the quantity -3 plus x. Well, -3 plus x is the same thing as x minus 3. And so now I have a multiplication of the quantity x minus 3 on top. I have a multiplication of the quantity of x minus 3 on the bottom. Those would cancel, leave me with -6 over 3x, which becomes -2 over x.